She was like light blue with pink hues, and then she had like this pearl coating where she would really shimmer in the right light. She was just absolutely gorgeous.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Lobster and Beer TV. I'm your host, Brian Thompson. Today's a special episode.
Very special.
This is our first in a year of filming episodes. This is our first repeat guest. We got Mark Murrell on the show today.
Mark from Maine, baby.
As much as we love Mark, we're not here to talk about Mark this time around. We're here to talk about a very special project that we've had the pleasure on working with him on, and it's called the HADDIE'S Bay Club. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, repeat guest, Mark Murrell, the founder, chief curator of Get Maine.
Let's go, Mark. Woo!
So, yes, he's back.
I think that's what you guys told me to do.
Yeah.
Very hip, very hip.
Back with the beard. Did you have the beard when we filmed?
I didn't.
No.
You didn't?
No.
It looks
No.
good, man.
Thank you. My wife hates it.
Yeah, well,
No.
I could tell you it looks like you gained, your IQ level went from already like whatever, a 200. Now you're at a 300. Super genius.
Oh, yeah? Watch this. I'll put on my readers.
Oh,
Right?
Woo!
Oh, wow.
I can't even see because they're readers, right? But-
I'm there now. Now I feel like I have to be on like Rogan level to ask questions. Well, hey, before we do anything, let's crack open
Let's
this
dive in,
beer.
baby.
And just this beer just so happens to be connected.
We've happened to drink it once or twice.
Yes, exactly. And it's connected to what we're here to talk about today. This is the Haddie beer. Mark, tell us about this beer.
Well, first I'll talk a little bit about Haddie, but this is a legacy beer, right? So Haddie is a rare 1 in 100 million cotton candy colored lobster that we discovered off the coast of Portland, Maine. And many may remember seeing it in their news feeds because it was in the top 5 on Apple News and Yahoo News and 4 billion impressions. So Haddie inspired me to build a legacy for her because she's so beautiful and brave and rare. And this was one of the first projects. Was my friends at Shipyard. I was like, hey, I want to start a beer around Haddie. I think it's going to crush because her story is amazing. I'll get some killer art done. As you can see, the art is just unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
And
beautiful.
and the beer is amazing. I just got a text from somebody saying it's the best IPA he's ever had.
Yeah.
So I was
It's
like,
super
wow.
good. It's like a hazy IPA, 7%, I think.
We actually just had on another chef as well. I don't know if this episode will air before or after, but he said this was also his favorite IPA as well.
Yeah.
So you've gotten some high profile palates to give you
Yeah.
that approval.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the other guy's a movie producer, right? So I was like, hey, he's had a beer too.
Yeah.
He knows. So
It's
that's pretty
crisp.
exciting.
Yeah, it's crisp. It's got like a nice like grapefruit hit on the palate.
Yep.
For 7% though, it doesn't taste strong. It
Mhm.
goes super well with the lobster roll, which I want to dive into here. Mark,
Wait, before you dive into that. So wait,
yeah.
where though? So can people
Oh.
buy? Can people buy this yet? Where
Yes.
can we? Is this where are we?
Well,
getting this?
soon. We literally the beer just came in, right? The ones I shipped you are fresh off. And we've started selling. We landed in Cappy's in Boston. So
Nice.
any Cappy's in Massachusetts, you can find Haddie. And we're working on some West Coast distribution currently. And we're also working on direct-to-consumer. Direct-to-consumer is probably going to take a minute. It's pretty complex. But hustle down to Boston and get some at Cappy's.
Yeah,
And,
seriously. And did you mention already that it says here on the can, 10% of sales go to marine conservation efforts?
I didn't. Everything that I do to build the continuous bulldozing legacy of Haddie, 10% will be going to marine conservation. Everything.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I love that.
That's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
that's, like I said, what's the point of something if it doesn't have a lasting legacy? And a 1 in 100 million lobster, that's a lasting legacy.
I know, and I want to dive into her, but right before we do that, you're the king of lobster. You have been Mark from Maine. You've been the man in everyone's homes. You've been able to deliver lobster from dock to the doorstep around the country for people for close to 12 years now, over a decade. So we're eating your lobster roll today. Tell us about the special ingredients that you added.
I went basic this time. Last time I was on, I did my brown butter tarragon.
Yeah.
But I was looking for something quick and clean. And so mine is, and I went a little bit different. Mine's a slider roll today. You see my big paws, little tiny sandwich. And I used lobster tail meat this time, in which I slow cooked on low medium heat in lots of butter. Not quite poaching, but poaching. And then I took our famous seasoning, our secret lobster dust. And that was it.
Yeah.
It's
all you need.
Super creamy. It's all you need. Really, lobster is such an amazing, distinct flavor.
Yeah.
There's no need to, put too much on it.
Yeah, it's.
You forget what a classic roll tastes like. Holy smokes! It tastes so good. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Which made people think I eat lobster all the time, but I don't.
Really?
This one's good, man.
So good.
I haven't had lobster in a month.
Oh wow. Okay. I would not have guessed that. We haven't had just a classic, one of the things that we do on the show is we always have the guests bring a special ingredient. And a lot of the guests like to be, eclectic with their ingredient. So we haven't had just the standard lobster roll with the Get Maine Lobster special seasoning in a very long time. Probably since
I don't think I've ever
maybe
had
we've actually
one.
never eaten this. It's so good, and it's incredible how it tastes so fresh, and we're in Arizona.
That's what I mean. And that's the most exciting part about what we're about to talk about, frankly, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, Mark, let's dive into it, man. I want to talk more Haddie here. So take us back.
Haddie from the club.
Yeah, let's get straight into the club, man.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, Alec and I don't like to mess around. We go straight to the club all the time. I wish that was true. We're in bed by 9:00 every night.
Always.
Yeah. So Mark, back in November, one of your lobstermen caught a cotton candy lobster. Tell us about it.
Billy Coppersmith. He's been lobstering forever, right? And I was in Massachusetts. My friend decided to have Thanksgiving 2 weeks early for some reason.
Yeah.
I think because, you got family dynamics and everything. So I went down there. So I'm in Mass, and Billy texts me saying, "You're going to like this." And so Billy and I have a relationship where I get 100% of his catch.
Okay. Yeah.
I get all of it, right? In exchange, I give him some benefits of parking and boat and all that jazz. So I was like, man, I'm in Boston. I'm not coming back till tomorrow. I cannot wait to see her. But so she was light blue with pink hues. And then she had this pearl coating where she would really shimmer in the right light. She was just absolutely gorgeous, strong. She was really strong.
Do they know about how old she is?
Yeah, she was probably around 6 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay. She's
6 or
young.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was really the biggest thing about her that impressed me was a lobster like that should not survive, which is why we only see 1 in 100 million. Now, it's a genetic deficiency, and she is a lack of certain elements that make her shell that color. But by design, lobsters are dark brown, greenish, so they blend in with the ocean floor.
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So at least North American lobsters. And being a bright light bulb on the ocean floor is not good when predator are around. So how she survived, I don't know. She must have hid in the muck.
Yeah.
Probably didn't eat much, but she was strong. And I think what happened that day was a big storm wrestled up the bottom floor
Yeah.
and then gave her an opportunity to go out and hunt. And then she hunted in Billy's trap. Billy harvested her,
Wow.
gave her to me.
That's incredible. So the what makes her 1 in 100 million? Is it a combination of the genetic mutation of her shell and the fact that, because she's not able to blend in, that she shouldn't necessarily survive? Is that kind of what?
Yeah. I think that is the combination, right? So one, it's a genetic mutation that doesn't happen very often. Two, well, so actually there's only a 0.004% chance that a lobster is going to make it to 1 pound, AKA 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a crazy fact in itself of all lobsters. That's
right. So then think about, but that's why a female lobster that weighs 3 pounds will probably drop like 50,000 eggs.
Yeah.
So you multiply that by 0.004%, and then there you go. That's how many lobsters you're going to get.
That's
But
when
she
when
can
you
do
say
that.
a pregnant lobster, one of the things that that I've loved that I've heard you talk about before, you guys are a sustainable business, right? So you don't pregnant lobsters you always put back in the ocean, right? You don't harvest them.
Correct. And we even, it's called V-notching, is they'll put a little notch in the tail. So the next time, because if she's not pregnant, she's a breeder, right? So we notch the tail because if she's not pregnant, somebody won't know that she's a breeder.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the process. And the cool thing about Maine lobster sustainable fishery is that it was designed by the lobstermen and women.
Yeah.
It's not just a man occupation anymore.
I love that.
There actually never was. The oldest lobster person in Maine is 101 and a female.
That's badass.
Crazy. Yeah.
I love
Right?
that. That's super
And she's
badass.
badass.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And just to clarify, though, you've been in the business now for 13 years or so. You've probably seen a lot of lobsters, and this was the first time you've ever laid eyes on actually one.
My first time. Yep.
That's crazy.
incredible.
Because you've probably seen more lobster than 99.9999999% of people.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. And funny, this is not the first lobster that I saved. It's the second.
Oh, really? What was
Yeah,
the
I
first one?
saved a lobster. I saved a lobster, I don't know, like 6-7 years ago. And her name was Libby. And I ended up making it into the children's book. It's a published children's book now. But a woman, there was a Publix selling a bright orange lobster, right?
Okay.
Not as rare, but still rare.
Yeah.
And she was a vegan and she wanted to save it. And her friend, she called her friend and said, hey, you know anybody that can help me save this thing? And her friend was a customer of mine.
Yeah.
So she called me and said, hey, I got a friend that wants to save a lobster. You willing to help? I said, absolutely. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So I helped her get Libby to the Seacoast Science Center in Rye, New Hampshire.
That's super. And that's where Haddie is now.
That's where Haddie is.
So Mark, you caught Billy caught Haddie, hit you up.
Yep.
You went and saw her, absolutely blown away. But there was a whole, storm of media that happened before Haddie even made it into the Seacoast Science Center. Take us through that.
4 billion impressions.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
With a B.
And it was like,
I don't even believe myself saying that. Yeah.
It was like fast. I mean, she was trending on Apple News and Yahoo News, right? So she was above the page fold top 5.
Jeez.
I took a video of her and I was like genuinely mesmerized by her. And I wanted to share her with the world. So I made a video, sent it to our PR company, and I said, let's make this viral. This is an amazing creature. And then boom, like a week straight, I was like getting interviewed on television and stuff. It was crazy.
I mean, it's so unbelievable how viral it went, because I remember one morning, literally on, it must have been Apple News or something, and then seeing something about lobster. I'm like, oh, I work in the lobster business, kind of. I should probably click on this and see what it's about.
Yeah.
And then I scrolled down and I saw a picture of Mark, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm in business with Mark.
My dad called me. One of my aunts in Boston texted me, and then my brother called me right away too.
Everyone saw it.
Yeah,
That was unbelievable.
and within like 3 or 4 hours the same morning, like everyone blew me up. And
She owned it, you know.
incredible.
So,
Yeah. But what I love, so I want to transition from there. So, you know, you caught Hattie, brought her to the Seacoast Science Center. The news blew up, and then you decided to take this opportunity and build something for your already existing customer base for Get Maine Lobster, and just the Web3 community that's being built. Take us through that. Like, what inspired you to create the Haddie's Bay Club, and for our listeners who don't know what Web3 and NFTs are, what is the Haddie's Bay Club, and why should they even be in tune with it?
Yeah, because it's awesome.
I know that. I know that.
True.
So, one, an NFT is a non-fungible token. In layman's term, it's proof of ownership of a digital asset that is unique and typically has some sort of access per privilege attached to it. So I'm the founder of a lobster business, right? But prior to that, I was a marketing consultant that helped businesses leverage technology, mobile and internet to do whatever they wanted, right?
Yeah.
Build audiences or make sales. So I've always really kept a pulse on what's emerging in tech and how to leverage that. Owning the lobster business has slowed down that a little bit for me. But Hattie was such a unique thing that I wanted to do unique projects. The Haddie's Bay Club, right? So it's a community of 7,777 token holders that are part of an exclusive group of people that really admire and aspire to be rare, brave, and beautiful, and also have a heck of a lot of fun. So I wanted to, most importantly, 10% marine conservation, right?
10% of the profits from the club go to marine conservation.
Exactly. We're going to build a treasury.
Yeah.
Right. And then we're going to let the community vote on who, which organization we give it to.
Yeah.
Right.
That's super cool. And I think for me, that's one of the many differentiators in this new space, the Web3 space, the NFT space, where it really truly is a community.
We want you involved.
Yeah,
everybody who has got love for it, everybody whoever's had a thought about it. Now's your time. You can have a voice.
So they get to
voice.
There'll
That's
be
the key word.
Yeah, there'll be a platform if they're an NFT holder and they're in the community, there'll be a platform for them to actually have voting rights on where this 10% is going to be distributed to different marine conservation efforts.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I view it as, we've become this big family global, right? And we really focus on being a part of something that is greater than ourselves, and a willingness to be, in awe of, nature's amazing creatures, that Hattie was. And then that really inspires me that kind of idea inspired me to design the roadmap of Haddie's Bay Club and where it could go. I mean, Haddie's Bay Club can go anywhere if the community is strong, amazing, and engaged, right?
Yeah.
So my job is to make it strong, amazing, and engaged. So how do I do that, right? I have great utility, I have great art,
What do you mean by great utility?
Utility. So utility is the transition of the digital asset into the physical world. So one example of utility is the first 7% are going to get a lobster roll kit.
So the first 7% that get the NFT get sent Get Maine lobster roll kit.
Yeah, they get to queue up, and it's not automatic because we've got to get their address and schedule.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, they get access, right?
Yeah.
That NFT first 7%, they get access. They get a lobster roll kit delivered to their house, right?
Yeah.
And then you jump to 17%. 17% get this exclusive NFT legendary drop T-shirt, right? So only that first 17% are ever going to own that T-shirt. Doesn't exist.
And to confirm, that's the first 17% that buy into the NFT collection.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Keep going. Sorry.
Yep. And then we developed the treasury for our charity giving to marine conservation. We cut a check, I think, at 47%. And then we jumped to 87, which is super cool. And the legendary, we have 7 legendary NFTs. Well, one of them, they're going to get lobster for life.
You know, I'm buying 3 NFTs just to try to get that one.
That's crazy to think about. The value, I don't even know what the value of that would be.
Yeah, it's a lot of math.
Yeah. And then one other legendary holder, we get lobster for a year, right? That's still, amazing. But I wanted to create some rare ones to inspire some value. And so we can build more treasury for Haddie, right? So the intent is to get the community to get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
And one thing I've been thinking about recently is that because I own a lobster business, I should do a lobster box every month for a random token holder for 5 years.
Wow. That's
know?
Incredible. So I mean, the value is such a high level. Let me ask you this though, going back to the ultra rare tokens, are people able to go in and specifically purchase those?
No. It's luck. Right.
Yeah.
So you go in, nobody knows. There's a reveal after post. And so you don't know. So that's pretty exciting too.
Yeah.
And I worried about that one, I worried about it. But I was like, wow, that'd be amazing if it was somebody.
Hold on. Do you worry in the sense of like if like a 15-year-old gets the lobster for life that you're gonna have to send him lobster for like 80 years or more?
Well, no, that's exactly what I worried the opposite of. I was like, somebody's just gonna shove a bunch of money at it, right?
Yeah.
And I hope that happens later, but I would love for it to be someone who like, hey, I'm buying this NFT because I dig the project. I'm not of huge means, but I believe in this and I want to be a part of it. And they get it.
They get an equal chance. They get an equal chance.
Well, they get an equal chance, right? Then how awesome would it be if it was that person who's like, man, I'm taking a bet.
Yeah.
And suddenly, I mean, that NFT, Lobster for Life, that's massive value, right?
Yeah.
That's going to trade post mint at a really high level forever.
Yeah. So they could technically get sick of lobster after 5-10 years, and then they could turn around and sell that.
I'm hoping I'm like 20,
or get gout.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm like 21 years old. I'm like in that stage of where I'm really trying to impress a girl.
Yeah.
It's like I got lobster 3 years, and then I can sell it for a lot of money still 2 years after. I've done it all right there.
Right? Yeah, that's an ultra win.
Return on value, baby.
Yeah, seriously.
And that's what I love about this NFT technology, because if you have art does it, because then that will influence culture. You look at Bored Apes, right? Now they're bringing in utility, but everybody that bought in had no idea what the utility was, but they're bringing real value to their token holders, like real deal, Holyfield, amazing long-term potential.
Yeah.
Even though Justin Bieber spent, whatever he spent, what was it? $1.2 million.
Oh,
Three
yeah.
or like even like I
Million
someone were up at
three.
like 3.2 mil even.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, they were.
But so
Yeah, it's wild.
let's dive into that really quick though, because that's something when I first started to study the Web3 space and NFTs, I was hesitant early on because my first adoption of it was people are buying digital pieces of art for thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars just to brag about it, to have it in a wallet. And then when I started to dive in more, I really started to understand the digital contracts. But I guess my question for you though is you've had such a loyal customer base for years. And so, how are you going to be able to, bridge the gap for them to understand that they're not just buying into a piece of digital art, but they're buying into something that has a lot more utility and value than you can even imagine based off of what you even just said.
Here's a couple interesting pieces about our existing customer base. You remember when Maria crushed Puerto Rico? Remember
Oh,
the
yeah,
hurricane.
hurricane. Yeah.
So I'm a big, lover of Puerto Rico. And I wanted to do something big for them. I was working on coordinating filling a plane with food and flying it over there, right?
Amazing.
And I happen to have a friend that owns an airline, so I reached out to my community and say, I want to do this and I'm going to match, right? Help me out, and we raised a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
And we weren't able to coordinate the food getting there. So I just ACH'd it to my friend that's out there in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, take this and do whatever you need to do with it. Feed some people,
Yeah.
So they get into that all the time with me and I love them for it.
That's super cool.
And then, the other part of it, and I think some of them are investors, right? Some of our customer base are investors. Physical investors, right? They bought in. We did a special raise about 5 years ago where they could come in at as little as $1,000.
That's like an
awesome.
NFT before an I mean, you were honestly low key though. That's like that was like kind of what an NFT is, but a DAO is before that was even a thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a new thing.
Yeah.
Crowdsourced funding. So those are a couple, nuggets. Then I look at inviting them to this new Web3 thing. And to be honest, I don't know if it's going to translate. So my duty is to educate, show value. So how I do that is, one, I got to pick a platform with ease, right? I don't know about you, but when I first got into it, I found it very difficult to get the NFT that I wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a problem.
And then I couldn't get enough ETH in my wallet in time and missed out on a low floor price. And then it went to a place where, I was like, that's out of my budget, or I'm not ready to do that yet because I'm still learning. I don't want that to occur with our existing base. I want to use a platform that's simple. I want to give them the VIP list so they can get in at a great rate, and then hold on to that. And I can bring them value, not just in the service that I provide or the way that I treat them. I can give them something that goes well beyond the business, and actually introduces them. NFTs are going to change the world. Banks are getting into it, right? When banks get into it, then you got to look out. You're like, okay, this is happening. So I would love to be the conduit to introduce them to this cool technology and how it can enhance their life and the lives of others, right?
Yeah.
So some people are so generous that they'll buy it and gift it, I don't know why nobody didn't gift me a Bored Ape or a CryptoPunk.
Same. Right here.
Why didn't that happen?
Here's a question though too. So for I guess everyday people, even especially since like you had said you're a little bit older, did you when you first heard of it, like did you have hesitations to NFTs and Web 3.0 originally, or where you bought it? What really was like the aha moment for you where you're like, all right, this isn't a scam, this is real?
No, it's probably Gary V. V Friends.
Yeah.
I didn't understand Bored Ape. Now that I've seen their plans, I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
Although Bored Ape is super unique because they like culture took over.
Yeah.
All the celebrities had to have them. Celebrities have everything they want. They had to have a Bored Ape too.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So I was not hesitant in the beginning. I was uber curious. It took a while for it to click. And that's kind of when we started talking about it. And then through what I call the conversations of geeking out, I could feel my excitement around it, authentic excitement. And that's when I knew it was real.
Yeah.
You can just feel it in your bones. So I said, well, I better jump into this and see what it's like for myself to then be able to design what I want our NFT project to be for others.
Yeah.
So I did that. I did that work. I spent, 3-4 months doing that work, just learning and then designing.
You mentioned Gary V. One of the things that I heard early on when I started to dive into NFTs is he said when he looked at a project, he always looked at the human behind the project. And so I think you got something going for you, man. Because
look at me.
Yeah. I mean, no,
he's real. He's not a fake person in some other country that's just putting up
no,
art.
but man, stuff. I mean, but your business, Get Maine Lobster, is all about creating an experience for people. And it's brought to them from Mark from Maine.
And what better way though to experience over lobster? There's no better experience than communicating with a community all around the world over a fresh lobster.
I know that. I got to do it since I was a kid. You grew up in Arizona, You're just getting in on it.
And so that experience though, to be able to say, hey, at 7%, if I get one. And then
you get Maine Lobster.
You get Maine Lobster, and then we'll all get on a chat together. And then so we got people from.
Oh, I forgot that part.
Yeah,
exactly. We have people Idaho, Nebraska, New Mexico, everywhere.
Well, break that down for us, Mark, because for people who don't understand the community aspect of it.
Right. So we create, multiple platforms, and then eventually, so the technology is still new. So there's these platforms. There's a Discord, right, which is all about communication, and it's broken down into subject matters, right. And then you have Twitter is a big space for Web3. Instagram is emerging. And then there's going to be other platforms that are all inclusive, where the marketplace and the social aspect, they collide. And suddenly it's all in one place, right? And that's what I'm super pumped for when that occurs. But in reality, because we're this community, we're going to find each other on those Discords, Twitters, but also because we're a traditional business, a traditional e-commerce business, we're really good at CRM stuff. So we have email lists that people will be involved on. We can tweet it on Twitter and post it in Discord and make certain announcement and whatnot. But then we also have our email, but also we have our website where all the major announcements are going to be.
Yeah.
And Web3 technology, we can have private exclusive stuff because we're going to be able to connect the wallet, which shows validation of ownership, to then give them access to the backside of HADDIE'S Bay Club. And then that's where, for example, the first 7%, they're going to then be able to show validation and then say, oh my God, I'm the first 7%. I get to queue up my lobster roll kit. They click that button because the smart contract on the blockchain said it's true.
Yeah.
Right. So if you think about that, I mean, that's just unbelievable. if you think of all the ways that people are frauding in the physical world, if you move to a digital where a smart contract is an individual thing on an individual asset on an individual device, that when you access it, you can even set up other authentication methods. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to fraud that, you know, but also I'm going to be able to give levels of access based upon the smart contract on this thing attached to the NFT that's in this decentralized space called a blockchain.
Yeah. That's incredible.
It's wild.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, and because you have one of those, guess what? You might randomly be drawn 1 month, and then a lobster roll kit is going to show up at your doorstep.
Exactly.
Right?
Hello.
Yeah.
5 years.
Hello.
5 years.
Hello.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And announce it in that, you know, they go through the gated, it's called a gated experience.
Yeah.
They pass through and then they're in the, you know, the real world.
It's super
Chills.
exciting. Yeah, it's super exciting.
They're in the Bay Club.
They're in the Haddie Bay Club. So where can the listeners today, you know, to get in tune with the Haddie Bay Club? Where can you direct them?
Grand Central is our website, Haddie's Bay Club. That's plural.
We'll put it right here on the screen.
And then from there, you can click on the Twitter, Insta, and Discord. For those that don't know what Discord is, it used to be a platform for gamers where they would communicate. Now it's crypto and NFTs, and it's super fast paced. An old man like me struggles in there, but I jump in from time to time just to talk, you know, just to
And you do a good job.
You know, a big thing in Web3 is GM. Good morning. So
for you to take what you've done with your community and your company and now bring it into the Web3 space and give your community even more ways to thrive off of being in the Get Maine Lobster.
You can get lobster rolls. You can,
family.
It's endless.
Yeah.
I mean, limitless, endless. But what excites me the most is being able to hop into a space and to talk with random people all over and connect about it, even whether it's lobster, sea conference, anything. We are a community. We can support each other, and we can, you know, it's limitless what we can potentially do together.
Absolutely. This I think we messed up. We were supposed to have this conversation after Mark got off
my
the
bad.
call.
We're just too excited.
We'll get there. We'll get there next time. Mark, normally we, you know this from being on before. We always ask our guest, you know, if there was an autobiography written about you today, what would it be called? But I'm gonna go off the cuff right now.
I wonder if
for
you're
a
thinking what I'm
closing
thinking.
But if you could, you know, fast forward 2 years from now, you didn't get into Web3, but you could go back to yourself now. What would you tell that person about Web3 and why should they be involved?
So I didn't, and now I'm talking to somebody else.
Yeah.
You done messed up.
That's real.
You know, that's it. Open eyes. And when my brain started going down the rabbit hole of, you know, kind of what Alec was talking about, like endless possibilities, instead of having fear of the endless creativity that is coming out of the space, be open and embrace, watch, listen, and jump in jump in early, right? Because it's happening. And it's going to happen
whether
really
we like it or not.
fast.
Period.
It's going to happen fast. It's already happened crazy fast.
I'll close it off with this, and this is something that you told me, Mark, and I think it's really good for our listeners to hear. The only limit in this space is our imagination. And that right there excites me the most. So, Mark, thank you so much again. Cheers. The Haddie beer. It's going to be available soon. Haddie's Bay Club. Go hit it on Instagram, Twitter. Go to the website.
Come chat
We love
with
you
us.
guys.
We want to talk with you.
Yes, thank you for joining us again on Lobster and Beer. We'll see you again soon. Peace. Hey guys, I know we got kicked out of the bar. They called last call, but we're back. And I just want to let you know we appreciate you guys so much. Our fan base means everything to us. So if you can, hit the like button, subscribe right here, And hit us up on Instagram, socials, everything. Lobster and Beer TV. We love you. We will see you on the next episode. Peace.